this, we're going deep on something called The Strangest Secret. And honestly, the title alone, had me intrigued. So we're looking at this YouTube video, right? And it's about this talk by Earl Nightingale, this motivational speaker from way back. And we're going to see if his, secret to success still holds up today.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see how these, timeless ideas, especially about success, how they sort of stand the test of time, you know? So let's unpack this secret and see what we can learn.
Okay, so right away, Nightingale drops this quote from a Nobel Prize winner, saying that most people just don't think, like they're sleepwalking through life. So he uses this to kind of set the stage for this big secret, arguing that, most of us are just on autopilot.
And what's interesting is he's not just talking about, daydreaming, right? He's suggesting that most people aren't consciously choosing their path, which, that can have huge implications for how fulfilled they feel in life. He even throws out this statistic, only 5 out of 100 people are financially independent by 65. That's a bit of a wake-up call, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely makes you think. It's almost like he's saying that by not, actively thinking and making choices, we're basically choosing to be part of that 95%. Okay, but let's get to the good stuff. What exactly is this strangest secret?
Well, he lays it out pretty plainly. We become what we think about. I know. That might sound a little too simple at first, but if you really sit with it for a second, it's actually quite profound.
Right. At first, I was like, come on, is that all? But the more I thought about it, the more I see how it connects to so many things, like in life. If you're constantly focusing on what's wrong, it's no surprise if your life feels negative,
Exactly. And he uses all these vivid analogies to kind of make this point. Like, he compares people without goals to ships just drifting at sea. No captain, no course, just at the mercy of the winds, right?
And then, of course, the ship with a destination, a plan, that's the one that actually reaches its goal. He's basically saying that having clear goals is like having that map and compass, helping you navigate through all the noise and distractions of life.
He also talks about the mind being like fertile ground. You plant corn, you get corn, you plant nightshade. Well, you get the idea. What we feed our minds, it matters.
Okay, so I get that positive thinking is important and all, but what about, things we can't control? What if something bad happens, like, losing a job or getting sick? Does that mean it's our fault because we weren't thinking positively enough?
That's a fair question, and it's one I kind of wrestled with, too. Nightingale doesn't deny that bad things happen, obviously, but he's really focused on how our mindset shapes how we respond to those events. You see, instead of being consumed by, fear and negativity, we can choose to see challenges as opportunities for growth and learning.
So it's not about pretending everything's perfect. It's more about choosing how we react to the less than perfect stuff.
Exactly. And that takes effort. It's like building a mental muscle. He argues that most people underutilize their minds, using them for little jobs instead of harnessing their true power.
Okay, so let's say I'm ready to flex this mental muscle. Where do I even begin?
Well, he's got this 30-day challenge for us, and it all starts with a single, clearly defined goal.
So not just like a vague, I want to be happy kind of thing.
Right. It needs to be specific and something you can actually take action towards. He even suggests writing it down and carrying it with you, like a reminder throughout the day.
I'm starting to see why he called this the strangest secret. It's simple, yet it's powerful.
And it's not just about writing it down. It's about engaging with that goal on a much deeper level. Visualizing it, feeling it, believing it. Almost like you're tricking your mind into thinking you've already achieved it.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. It's like a mental dress rehearsal for success. I can dig that. But I'm already thinking, what if I forget to look at my goal card, or what if I start having those negative thoughts creep in?
He addresses that too. He knows we're not robots. He says if you find yourself slipping into negativity, you just got to gently redirect your thoughts back to your goal. It's all about practice and consistency.
And it's only 30 days. Anyone can try something for 30 days. But there has to be more to it than just thinking positive thoughts all day. Where does action fit into all of this?
Well, he's clear that action is essential. He calls it paying the price. It's not enough to just dream. We have to get out there and do something.
That makes sense. So how does he suggest we take action? Are we talking massive leaps, baby steps?
He encourages us to start where we are, right? And to consistently do a little bit more than we think we're capable of. He emphasizes the importance of going above and beyond, giving more than we've ever given before.
Wait, so it's not just about achieving our OWN goals. He's tying this into helping others, too.
You've picked up on something really important. Nightingale is adamant that true success is linked to service. He even says, no man can get rich himself unless he enriches others.
Whoa, that's powerful. It's not just about what you get, it's about what you give.
Exactly, and this is where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm really feeling this connection between success and, like, service now. It's like he's saying the more value we create for others, the more success we'll find in our own lives.
Yeah, it's a beautiful concept, isn't it? It kind of challenges this idea that success is a zero-sum game, like one person's win means another person's loss. He's suggesting that true success comes from a place of abundance where we all rise together.
I like that. So it's not about, stepping on others to get ahead. It's about collaborating and creating something, like, bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. He even gives this example, like imagine driving down any street and just observing. You can tell how much service the people on that street are providing just by looking around. He's saying service is everywhere if you know how to like spot it.
Okay, I'm seeing that now. But back to that 30-day challenge we were talking about, how taking action is key. What are some practical ways we can, like, apply this service idea in our daily lives?
That's where things get really exciting. Think about your own skills and talents. What are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? Now, how can you use those things to bring value to others?
Interesting. It's like he's challenging us to think beyond just our own needs and consider how we can contribute to the world around us.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be some grand gesture either, right? It could be as simple as helping a colleague with a project, or volunteering in your community, or even just being a more patient and understanding friend or family member.
So it's about shifting our focus from what's in it for me to how can I help?
Precisely. And that's where the real magic happens, because when we start focusing on serving others, our own needs tend to be met in unexpected ways. Remember, Nightingale suggests that true wealth is generated by providing value.
Okay, so let's break this down. Nightingale says write down one clear goal and think about it positively all day. But he also says to act on that goal and find ways to be of service to others. Am I getting that right?
You got it. He weaves those two things together beautifully. He's not just talking about visualizing success, he's talking about actively creating it by taking consistent action and contributing to the world around us.
But I got to be honest, this whole thing sounds like a lot of work. What if I get discouraged? What if I try this 30-day challenge and nothing changes?
He anticipates that. He actually talks about this directly. He says if you find yourself overwhelmed by, negative thoughts, or you just lose steam, don't be afraid to start over. It's not about being perfect, it's about progress.
Whew, okay, that's a relief. It's like he's saying, hey, this is a journey, not a sprint. Take your time, be kind to yourself, and just keep moving forward.
And remember, there are 5 key things he highlights for achieving success. First, we have to really grasp this idea that our thoughts have power. Then we use our imagination to picture what we want. Next, we got to be brave enough to actually go for it.
Okay, so we got powerful thoughts, vivid imagination, and a dose of courage. What are the other two?
These are crucial. He talks about practicing financial discipline, specifically by saving 10% of our earnings. And of course, the 5th one is taking consistent action towards our goals.
I'm really curious about that 10% savings thing. What do you think is the reasoning behind that?
It's interesting, isn't it? I think it goes beyond just like the financial aspect. It's about developing a mindset of abundance and planning for the future. It shows a belief in yourself and your ability to create wealth.
It's like you're proving to yourself that you can handle money responsibly, and that sets you up for bigger financial wins down the road.
Exactly. And he even ties this back to the idea of service. By managing our finances well, we're not just benefiting ourselves, we're also putting ourselves in a better position to help others.
So it all comes full circle. The more we focus on service, the more success we attract, and the more resources we have to give back. It's like this beautiful upward spiral.
He also emphasizes that there are no shortcuts or exceptions to this law of reciprocity. Like he says, if you try to get rich through deception, you'll ultimately deceive yourself and end up failing. Integrity is key.
So it's not just about what we do, it's about how we do it. Our actions have to be aligned with our values, or else, like, it all falls apart.
He puts it this way, the prisons and the streets with a lonely walk are filled with people who tried to make new laws just for themselves. Powerful, right?
Wow, yeah, he's not mincing words. It's a reminder that we're all part of a bigger system. And there are consequences for trying to, like, game the system.
He goes even further, quoting a psychiatrist who outlines 6 steps to realizing success. It starts with setting clear goals, which we've already talked about, but then it goes deeper into things like challenging negative self-talk, right? And identifying those limiting beliefs that hold us back.
This is starting to do like a total mind makeover. It's not just about thinking positive. It's about, like, rewiring our entire belief system.
Yes, and it also involves developing a positive self-image and taking actions that align with that image. It's a complete transformation from the inside out.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got the 30-day challenge, the power of thought, the importance of service, and this whole idea of aligning our actions with our values. What else is he emphasizing in this strangest secret?
Well, he also talks about the importance of persistence, calling it another word for faith. Faith in ourselves, faith in our goals, and faith in the process.
So it's not just about starting strong. It's about like keeping that momentum going, even when things get tough.
Exactly. He encourages us to act promptly and decisively when our course is clear, and to never give up on our dreams, even when we encounter setbacks.
And he reminds us that we don't have to do this alone. He encourages us to gather our families and communities around these ideas, to create a support system that can help us stay motivated and accountable.
It's beautiful, isn't it? He seems to envision a world where these principles are not just like individual pursuits, but shared values that can transform entire communities.
I love that vision. But I'm still wondering, is this secret really that strange? It feels like a lot of common sense wrapped up in some powerful imagery.
I think what makes it strange is that it's so simple yet so often overlooked. We get caught up in the busyness of life, in the pursuit of external validation, that we forget the power we hold within.
And that's what Nightingale is reminding us of, right? That we have the power to create the life we want. But it all starts with our thoughts, our beliefs, and our commitment to serving something greater than ourselves.
Exactly. And by taking that 30-day challenge, we can start to unlock that potential and experience the transformative power of this strangest secret firsthand.
Okay, so we've really unpacked this whole strangest secret thing, and I'm seeing how it's not just about, positive thinking, but about like aligning our thoughts, our actions, and our values. But before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your take on what this all means for like the listener. What's the big takeaway here?
I think the most empowering message is that we have more control over our lives than we often realize. Our thoughts, they aren't just these like fleeting things. They actually shape our reality. And by consciously choosing to focus on positive, goal-oriented thoughts, we can literally change the trajectory of our lives.
That's powerful. It's like we're all holding these like magic wands. And those wands are our thoughts, right? We can use them to create something beautiful, or we can let them run wild and create chaos.
Yeah, it's all about making those conscious choices. And Nightingale, he provides a practical framework for doing that. The 30-day challenge is a perfect example. It's not about passively listening to these ideas. It's about experimenting with them, and seeing how they actually work in our own lives.
As we've been talking, I've been thinking about all the different areas of my life where this could apply. It's not just about like work or money. It's about relationships, health, creativity, everything.
Absolutely. These principles, they're universal. They can be applied to like any area where we want to see positive change. And that's what makes this secret so exciting. It's not just for a select few. It's something we can all benefit from.
But let's be real for a second. Changing our thinking, it's hard work. What are like some potential pitfalls we might encounter during this 30-day challenge?
Well, Nightingale himself acknowledges that negative thinking is a powerful force. We've spent a lifetime cultivating certain thought patterns, right? And it takes effort to break free from those old habits.
It's like trying to reprogram our like mental software. Sometimes those negative thoughts, they just pop up even when we're trying our best to stay positive.
He gets that. He even suggests like starting over if we find ourselves getting bogged down by negativity. It's not about being perfect, it's about being persistent.
It's like he's saying, hey, this is a journey, not a destination. You're allowed to stumble, just get back up and keep moving.
He also reminds us that we don't have to do this alone. We can share these ideas with our families, our communities, create a support system to help keep us accountable, keep us motivated. Imagine what would happen if everyone in our lives embraced this strangest secret.
It's a beautiful vision. But before we get too carried away, I want to make sure the listener has some like tangible steps they could take. What's one thing they can do right now to start applying this to their lives?
Think about a goal you want to achieve, any goal. Write it down. Now imagine you've already achieved it. What does it feel like? How are you acting? What are you doing? Hold that feeling, that vision in your mind throughout the day.
That's great advice. And remember, it doesn't have to be some huge, massive goal. Start small, build momentum, and just watch what happens.
There's also this spiritual element to what Nightingale's talking about. He suggests that by like setting clear intentions and having faith in a power greater than ourselves, we can kind of tap into this source of guidance and support that can help us achieve our goals.
That's something I think a lot of people overlook, that importance of faith, not just in ourselves, but in something bigger.
Yeah, he even quotes scripture, ask and it shall be given you, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. It's a message of hope and possibility, reminding us that, we're not alone in this journey.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on success. And it's not just about, material wealth or achievements. It's about living a life of purpose and service.
Absolutely. And remember, while the idea of becoming what you think about might sound simplistic, there's a powerful truth behind focusing our mental energy. What we choose to focus on expands.
So as we wrap up here, I encourage you to ask yourself, what will I choose to focus on today? Let's all take this strangest secret to heart and see what amazing things we can create.
And be sure to check out the original YouTube video featuring Earl Nightingale's words for a more in-depth look at these powerful ideas.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey of self-discovery. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic to explore. Until then, keep those thoughts positive, those goals in sight, and those hearts open to serving others.